Hello, I am here. I was busy mopping sweat from my brow. I forget I have to press buttons. So, yes, a double welcome for you there. Yes, hello, awesome people. This is the symbol of the Friday Friendship where we link together in our community and say hello to everyone. What are you going to do to make today great? Now, if you've seen the title, today we're talking about crafts and creative frugal living, meaning how we can do our crafts to make things we need. So we're digging into that a little bit further along the line. I've got things to show you of crafts I've done, some frugal, some to add to my frugal things, and you'll see as we go along. So as you know, for some reason, I can't show pictures, but I have footage for you. So little short bits of footage to show you to go along with what I'm talking about today. I just checked I've clicked off everything. Yes. I did it. Yeah. Okay, so welcome to my channel, and if you're interested in my other channel, you can find my links below for that as well. I think it's below, who knows? But always check out under my lives, and thank you for being here. Okay, I'm all over the place now. So let's get into crafts first of all today. We're going to do different crafts. Now, you may have seen, if you watch my other lives, I've been making a rope basket. And this is a good example why I'm showing it again, because some people are only on this channel, to show you how you don't need to make containers. You can use what you find and what is around you. On my main channel, I have actually done a whole playlist of how you can make things from nature, such as pine needles, how you can make baskets from, yes, actual pine needles, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of basket content using different items, but there's also much else, as in how to make simple sandals, 2 different ways of that. And they're all simple crafts, how to make a turkey feather blanket. And we're not talking about feathers inside a cover, we're talking about using the actual feathers to make the blanket. Bamboo tables and chairs, and so on and so forth. So for those of you who haven't seen it, this is my basket I made, and there will be a video coming out on this channel because this is my craft channel along with other things. And I have put together, I don't think I posted it yet, but how I made it. So you can see how I made it and showing you how you don't need to buy things, just be clever with what is around you. I was given this rope from the horse stables that I help at. It was just tied up some hay bales or something they had, and he knew I liked to make things and create things, so he said to Mike, would your wife like it for something? And as you can see, it's far too pretty to just use for nothing. So, of course, I used that. So look out for the video on that. Talking of containers, I tried to grab a few, but a lot I'm actually using, so I couldn't bring any that are full of things. But these are a few of my paper containers I make. Now, this is basically the same idea as a rope basket. Just start in the middle and go round and round and round till you've got it as big as you want the size, and then slowly, I hate being backwards on this one. That's why I've stopped using StreamYard apart from this live, so I can show you things. Then you slowly coil up. You could come out and back in again. You can make literally any shape you want with your basket. So this is the same format as my paper basket. Now you can use literally anything. You can use newspaper, magazines, thin cardboard. You want cardboard you can easily bend, so you're not looking for thick cardboard. Just any old scraps of paper. I literally use my note paper. I write on it. I write on the other side. Same with envelopes. I will write on them again, use them as scrap paper. When I've used both sides, I'll either shred them and use them in my compost with like a paper slicer, because we don't use electronical things here, we use manual. So yeah, hand slicing with a paper slicer up and down. And then you want bits about this long, this thick rather, this thick, doesn't matter how long. Fold them over a couple of times so they're not very thick. You want them to end up just this, and then make long strips. If you're changing to another piece of paper, then just insert that in. You can glue it if you prefer. So you get long strips of paper and just coil round and round and round. And then at the end, you can see I've painted this one. That will give it more strength. If you want to glue as you go, you can. If you want to glue every now and then, depends what you're using and how strong you want it to be. If you wanted to, you could varnish it afterwards, but I don't do that. It just becomes quite stiff with the thickness pushing the paper together. And if you want, you can leave, as you can see, this is old newspaper. So it's not paper mache, it's just the paper coiled round and round. And if you're clever and use magazines or old birthday cards, Christmas cards, if you're clever, you could actually make colour patterns inside and then decorate the outside however you want. These are just containers I use, you know, like when you've got a few bits you throw in, or when you're doing a craft, you want to throw bits in. So I grab that one. I've got another one here. I've got so many of these around my house. I've got great big huge ones. You can make like laundry baskets. That would take you some time. But paper bins, waste paper bins, anything. This one is a better example. So that's the bottom. As you can see, that's newspaper. You can be as neat as you like or not. I keep my insides very neat. As you can see, I like the effect actually when you see what the actual paper is you use. And then as you see, I've painted the inside and the outside with silver paint and just stuck some motifs on there for you. So yep, that's another one. So I like these. You don't need to buy containers. You can make lids, of course. As you can see, imagine that as a lid, just come down a little bit. You could even make a knobbly bit first, sticking up for a handle if you wanted to do that. It's as much as your imagination is basically that you could make. So you could make a lid. Make sure the lid would come further out though than your base bit. But design it as you will. You could make little tiny trinket ones, little gift boxes. You don't have to make round. You can make squares, oblong, whatever you like. So that's that. I'm always covering old boxes as well. So you'll always see, I've got one here that I've got something else in I want to show you. The whole place is collapsing. Things piled here. Right, there we go. So this is an old, I think it was an old game or something, a children's game. The lid I've just put a picture on that I liked. I put oh, there's a word the Americans use for this stuff. It's like sticky tape with pictures and patterns on. I forget the word now, top of my head. It's called something weird, the Americans call it. Sorry, Americans. But yeah, sticky tape with pictures on to hold it down. And I've got some plastic, sticky back plastic on top. So I have got the bottom as well. That's just the top to show you. So again, showing you, oh, here's another one example. I'll just show you the lid there. It's another box I've covered. And because it's this pretty shape, I've actually also opened one of these boxes up for a template. And then I can make more boxes, which I've now got. This is actually our Cypress Delights, which is like a jelly flavoured sweet, little squares. And I've got stacks of those. They stack up really well, and you can label the sides. So if you do crafts, I have got that on the video, the actual template. So check through my crafts on this channel playlist. And you'll see you can then stack up all your crafts. If you do buttons and little trinkets and sequins, you could have one in each and just stack those up. So that's another idea for you. So lots of different ideas there. That's kind of the start of actually showing you useful things. Now, you can buy or find or salvage or recycle other things and pretty them up. Now, here's what I'm working on at the moment is an apron. It was actually a gift, the apron. It's supposed to be a gardening apron, and I didn't use it. And I'm prettying it up to make it my very own merch. So have a look at this. Let me just find for you a little apron I'm making. Let's have some terrible background music, shall we? Here we go. So yes, there you can see that is the apron that I had, and you'll see I'm adding vegetables. I'm cross-stitching all vegetables. It's not actually cross-stitch material, it's plastic squares. Put my channel name on there as well. So it's my own personal merch. There's a bean. I haven't finished it yet, and of course the pocket was just the right size to put my name on as well. So that was pretty cool. I quite liked that. So as I say, you can find, not saying that was ugly, but an example how you can find things that don't look very attractive but could be useful and pretty them up, paint them, decorate them. You can find things, very pretty things, and think, oh, that's pretty, but what will I do with it? Have a box saved of little pretty items that you could soon use. I paint a lot of my paint pots, and our volunteer was here, and before she left, just before she left, she told me she could paint and decorate pots and things if I wanted. So it was a bit late, but she left this as a gift for me to show me what she could paint. So she's done lemons at the top. These were the lemons I left for her in the room. And then she's done, this is all paintings of things that she could see from staying in the room. And that's tomatoes and peppers. And that's outside her room. There's more peppers, an olive tree. We've got some flowers. Oh, that's the oleander. And then we've got, oh, she was going to draw Mr. Colin Waffles, but she ran out of time before she left. So you will find if you can't draw, there's plenty of people out there that can, that would love to do things for you. So check out that. And while we're talking about useful things or making things out of other things, I found on the side of the roadway 2 like wicker baskets, very small. And I thought, well, they could be used for something. And this one is what I used, and the cats kept going in it. It's very small. Somebody actually commented one point, oh, you're cruel making your cats go in there. I don't make my cats go in there. I had it on the floor thinking what I could do with them, and the cats went in there. But I thought, well, if they keep going in there, let's have it for baskets for the cats. Fossil goes in there a lot, but it was a place when Kit first came, who you'll see in this clip. Kit was very tiny, and I thought, well, that might be a little safe place for the new cat. So this is Kit in the basket, and I thought, well, if he's going in the basket and Fossil's going in the basket, I'll make a little cushion. So I found a scrap of material And here you'll see Kit in the basket, and you'll see Kit was already in the basket where I went to film the cushion in the basket, and he finally got out to let me film the cushion in the basket. So here's Kit. I was like, oh, Mummy, did you want the cushion to film? And there you can see the cushion and the blue round the top of the basket. The wicker handle was actually coming apart. So that's why I've put the blue ribbon there. I'm trying to point again to show you. I weaved around the bottom of the handles to hold it onto the basket, and then wrap the ribbon around the top, and again then through the other side to hold the basket handle on. But there you can see the cushion. So there's that. Okay, let's take you away. Let's move it out because I ended up playing the same one twice last week. There we go. Okay. So why am I talking about this? Why can't we just go and buy stuff? Well, even if you can afford to buy stuff, then we want to help save the planet, as people say. But I don't think it's so much about that as just making use of things rather than wanting more stuff reproduced all the time. And I love, with my creative feelings, I like to try and do crafts, but I wouldn't call myself creative. But I do have a creative mind. And I like the challenge of finding things and finding another use for the things. Now, in the pandemic, me and Mike got down to our absolute last 30 euros in life. And you can see many videos on my other channel during this time, what we were doing. And I'm going to share one very simple part of this. And the water, we can get water from a stream, and it's like taps, like a water point near us. It's a very short walk away, but if you're carrying, the great big containers of water, you can't carry them back. So we do drive there and take all the big water bottles with us and fill up. By the by, at the moment, we can't now use it, but that's another story. But during this time, we could get water there. Now, we do have a borehole, and although you can have it tested to use the water for drinking and so forth, you have to pay, I can't remember how often. It might be every month or every 2 months, I can't remember. And we wanted to live here as cheaply as possible. And seeing as this water, I've lost the word, but water stream, where the water comes up, where you fill your water from, is a natural spring. That's the word. It's a natural spring with taps. Where that is, it's so near to us, as I've said, that there's no point of us having the borehole tested and keep paying out to check it's okay to use. So this was all very well. The borehole we use for watering our plants, and we also use it for things like the washing machine and things like that, but not for drinking and those kind of things, because we know it's all right, but we are supposed to have it tested. So we wouldn't drink it or use it like with food stuff. Now, when the pandemic came, to bring that water up to water our crops from the borehole, we have to use diesel because it's more than 600 feet deep. So therefore, people have said, oh, can't use a solar pump and things like that. No, we can't. It is far too deep. So we would have to have diesel for the generator to pump up the water. And if you see the size of our generator, you'll know why we can't use a solar pump. So we had to do that. But obviously, during the pandemic, we couldn't afford diesel. We couldn't afford petrol for the car. We had no money to spend. So we had to get, for even our crops, if I wanted to keep the few bits alive, which was our only food during this time, we couldn't go out and get food either because that's miles away. We did have a friend who bought us emergency supplies, but we didn't want them to have to do it for us all the time, and we couldn't afford to buy much food. As I say, we got down to our absolute last 30 euros in life. We had at that point no income at all, because the only income we did have come in was not happening at that point because of the pandemic. So we couldn't afford to buy the diesel to water our few crops that were left for our food. So I needed to water them. So we could go to the spring. But as I've said, we can't walk there and carry the bottles back. We did try 2 times, taking lots of smaller bottles, and we both had backpacks and wheelbarrows. But this was when it was the height of the summer. You can see I'm sweating now just like sitting here. And we're on a mountainside, so it's not like easy flat pavements or anything. So we had to find a way of bringing this water back. And it didn't matter how many times we went backwards and forwards, as long as it wasn't heavy to bring back. And Mike came up with this invention. It's actually, when you see it, I'll show you the footage. It's the ladder. It's got like steps and then a hook bit that you have onto roof water tanks, those kind of ladders. And then he got 2 wheels from an old wheelbarrow and put those on, and he made a little flat surface, like a almost dolly cart, but like a not a long flat one, because the wheelbarrow was an issue to bring back. So you couldn't have a 4-wheeled item. You needed like something like a trolley you could carry back, but not like a big trolley, like a picky up type one. You'll see. And so he made that, and then he got some stretchy tie things to hold the bottles on. So here's a clip of that. So you can see at that point he only had 1 on. That was the first time he used it, because he wasn't sure if 2 would be too awkward, but we ended up with 2 each time on there. So that was the thing that actually got us by during that time. So again, it's a case of being creative with what you have. If you've got any creative ideas that you've done, please put them in the comments below. And I'm quite happy if you want to add a URL down there. A lot of people say you can't add URLs. You can on my channel, because I haven't banned them. So as long as it's to do with what I'm asking, then your URL will remain up there. If you've got some great proper salvage product, not you went out and bought something to create something, but something you maybe found, and the more practical use, the better. If you go on Mike's channel, Olive Farm Retreat, Cyprus, you will see how he makes many, many frugal items. So do check out Olive Farm Retreat, Cyprus. And you will see how he's also made his own solar panel. Yes, completely himself made a solar panel with a hot water system out of total scraps. He did have to buy a little more copper pipe to finish it off, and I had to solder them, but you will see that and many more very creative projects. So check out Olive Farm Retreat Cyprus if you want to see more. And while we're talking about solar and low cost living, I'd like to share with you my solar panels, which are trackables. And if you don't know, rather than you tilting yours different angles for different seasons and different times of the day, These are totally trackable in both up and down and side to side, following the main power of the sun all the time. The only downside of these, I love them and I would highly recommend them. Even if they cost you slightly more, they're worth it, but don't put more than what we've got on each board. They've each got like a motherboard, computer board behind them. Don't put more than this for two reasons. If one breaks down, and you've only got, I think we've got 4 panels on each one, if one of the main lot breaks down, you've still got all the others on trackable. Also, a neighbour of ours put loads on one big trackable. His broke down, and it also moves and can break in the wind. So what we've got is what I would recommend the maximum on each tracker. Now, the only downside of it is we've had ours since not long after we moved here. We had them on the roof first normal and then moved them to here. And they need a bit of service. The motherboard, like machinery at the back, and where we got them from no longer does them, so we can't get them repaired there. They're beyond guarantee. We've had them so long, and we are searching high and low in Cyprus for anybody that can come and do it. It's the computerized bit of the board needs something doing to it. If anyone knows anyone or any company or can give us advice how to do it, Mike's quite happy to do it himself. If someone shows him what needs doing, please get in touch with me. My email's below this live, or if you go on Mike's channel, I'll only pass your message on to Mike anyway. But if anyone can tell us about, it's not the trackers itself, it's the computerized bit that is in a box behind each one, and it needs something doing to it, some kind of repair. We don't know if the weather's got to it or what, but we cannot find, we've scoured as much as we can, the whole internet, and we cannot find the advice on this. Or if someone can come and fix them, that would be ideal. But if not, if someone even knows any connections where we can get help for this, and let me show them to you. This is when they worked. So there you can see them. As you see, they follow the sun, and at the end of the day, they reset themselves. This was what they would do when they come towards the camera, that's setting themselves back for the beginning of the next day. As I say, I don't have any regrets having them. As I said, we had them on the roof, just normal flat panels originally. And when we put them onto this tracker system, we gained more than 50% power the next day. So that shows you they are so worth it. Obviously, Cyprus is such a tiny company. There must be companies out there, but we can't find them on YouTube. We don't have any other sources of social media. But if anyone can help us in the way to get, as I say, it's the computerized bit that's the issue. We know that for sure. So if anyone can help me, thank you so much for that. But I will still recommend them completely. As I say, we've had them so long now. Had them so long. Okay, so now you're like, did you see the intro where I live in an abandoned village? There are barely any people here. And here is a little bit more footage to share with you. This is, our friend had a drone, and from Mike's channel's intro, you can see part of this drone footage going over part of our property. So as you can see, there really isn't anything around us. So these hedges are our boundary, but it's a very long piece of property. You're seeing the width of it, and then it's just so rural all around us. I would have loved more of that. I do have footage on my main channel of flying over our property. I do have footage of that. And we did that for our first wedding anniversary. We got married in Cyprus and we actually did that. Mike can fly. And we flew over our property and our surrounding area, which was quite funny because we're so remote. And we hadn't lived there that long to know the whole landscape of a big, massive area, that we couldn't find our property. We were flying round and round. But I do have footage. It's a long video. It's on my other channel. And let me pop my other channel up in case you don't know what it is. And it's my 1K video. I think that's what it's titled. I think it's called 1K video or something. 1K video. There we go. I think it's called 1K special edition video or something. And for me, that was the only time I did a premiere, because YouTube did say initially, well, they still do, premieres are for special events and special reasons. But I know a lot of people use them because they think that's the only way they can get their channel to grow, to get everybody coming on en masse at the same time. So yes, it was my one and only premiere. So do have a look at that. That was really interesting. And as I say, you can see from above, you'll see we've got a very long piece of land. It's something like 6,333 square meters or some such thing like that. Yes. So what else have I got to show you? Oh, other crafts. I'll just show you a few things here because there's so many different things I do. As I say, I'm not good at anything, but I like to have a go at things. So we have here a bracelet I made. These are starfish. We have that. I made a bead one. Now, you may notice that there's similar beads to what I had on the top of this rope basket. These beads are actually, I was in the Caribbean, all different islands of the Caribbean for many years. And you may well note that these are the beads that, you have the cornrows done in your hair. I always have my hair in cornrows. I'd love to have that done again, but it's so expensive here to have it done. Costs nothing in any of the Caribbean islands. And this is my souvenir now of them. These are some of the ones I had for my cornrows when I was in the Caribbean. So I've got loads more. I've got lots of colours, but these are the prettiest colours there. So that's my souvenir of those. I've got another, put it on, you can see better, like a sequin one there. I have shells, lots of different types of shells there. And this is little fishes and little seahorses. Oh, I'm getting fed up today with this camera. Little seahorses. If you don't know, I've got a disability and things aren't where I think they are. So I've got no clue where the camera is. I know it's in the middle of my laptop, but this is all back to front for me. So I'm having a difficult day. So fishes. There. Fishes, seahorses. Fishes, angelfish, another blue seahorse, fish there. And I would say my main craft at the moment, I do like painting and drawing. I'm no good at it, but I enjoy the therapy of that. I did do flower pressing with the flowers that grow here. Oh, you've got the reflection of the light ring now. So these are wildflowers in my garden that I pressed those. The natural way of pressing them with heavy books and things and bricks on top. So there's that. I have that up on my wall normally. And yes, I would say cross stitch is what I do most of, if I had to say something. I do enjoy it. I don't know how to do it. I've self-taught. I do ask now and then people for how do you do this, and I don't know at the moment. I'm looking at if anyone could tell me how you know how much thread you need of a specific colour for a certain area. So this is, I did at school embroidery. Now I want to go back to doing that. I did this embroidery. I want to go back to that. I love doing chain stitch. I can't remember how to even do it, which is sad. I need to remember that. It can't be hard. And I like this effect I've got with the, I suppose, running stitch and then the stitch going through it. Don't know what it's called either, but I'd like to get back into that. Here's a kit of cross stitch a viewer sent me. I haven't started yet. I'm trying to finish off all my started projects first, so that will come. I've got a luggage tag that I could cross stitch on, but I've got no need for a luggage tag. So if any of you have got an idea what I can use that for, then I will know what to do on it. I have this cross stitch one I haven't done yet. That was a gift. And here's one I did for someone's wedding, and then just as I was about to put their names on it and get framed and send it to them, the wedding was off. So there's that one there. So and if you watch my other channel, you'll know I've recently got loads and loads of cross stitch kits. I won 2 auction lots, and I said in that there were 2 different lots and I couldn't afford both, so I got one, and then loads of bits seemed to be missing. Packets had been opened and bits were missing from it, and I kind of thought, well, it was the same seller had they made 2 lots by taking bits apart, and it gave them double the money if people bought 2. So I actually took that gamble and I bought the other one. And yes, it's over 3 videos. One is buying one lot, one's buying the other, one's matching it up, and the final video is showing you by mixing and matching how many full sets I actually got. So do check that out on my other channel. I'm dripping and dripping. It's a heat wave here, but then it's Cyprus. And the other thing I made, now if you watch this channel, it has got its own playlist, but you will know who this is if you watch this channel. It's Ginger Ninja. I made Ginger Ninja, and there's a whole playlist on this channel. I think it's called something like Life of the Gingerbread Man, and it's his story, and you will notice his expression changes a lot as well in his stories. It's Ginger Ninja, and it's first of all, he had a dog in the, it carries on the story. You can watch random ones, but it won't make as much comical sense. He found this dog called Cookie, and that's the story in itself, where he found Cookie. And then he got a girlfriend, and if you want to know her name, you'll have to watch the series. And they got married, their weddings in one episode, and their honeymoon. And I won't spoil it in case you want to go and watch it, but there's a whole lot more things going on. So do go and check out, I think it's called Life of a Gingerbread Man. It's a whole playlist, but that's to show you another one of my crafts. I thought you might enjoy that. And then I was thinking, would you be interested maybe next time of more showing you Cyprus and where I live? Here's a little video just to show you the sort of places I could show you. Let's put some background music on. This is a local. And you will see quite a lot of these things in my other channel as well. Lots of places you can go and places to see. So do have a look at that. And here's something else that you can see on my other channel. So yes, there's lots to see on my other channel. Do go over there and take a little look and see what you think of those and let me know. As I say, do always look at my playlist because I've got totally different things on both channels. I like to call this channel a channel of something for everyone. There's so much content and it's all sorts of things, basically. If you like cars, vintage particularly, I've got video on of vintage buses in Cyprus. So if you want to know more about Cyprus, then obviously that's something to do. And if you want to be a guest on my channel, then here's how you can do this. So I think we'll leave it there for today. As I say, leave me a comment below if you can answer any of the questions I'm asking for help on today. I think it was, I'll help you to try and make the best of salvage and other items, and you help me with my questions that I need to ask. I need answers. So I'd be very grateful if any of you can do that for me. And we're finished today. And don't forget, check out my other channel that's down below if you haven't already been there. And until then, I'll see you there. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for being here. You're awesome.